It's time for this week's episode of Brandon's Sports Talk.
Welcome back to Brandon's Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege to interview the Florida State head women's golf coach, Coach Amy Bond. How are you doing today?
I'm good, Brandon. How are you?
I'm doing good. Can you talk about how you knew that you wanted to get started in coaching in college women's golf?
I think for me, it was because I played college golf and playing here at Florida State really got me thinking that perhaps that I would be a professional golfer. And I was a professional golfer for a couple of years after school, but halfway, really 2 years into my professional career, my coach from here called and said, "Hey, would you like to come back and be an assistant coach?" Which I'd never really thought about it. Because at the time, assistant coaches couldn't even coach with the team at the same time as the head coaches. But I wasn't making a lot of money as a professional golfer, and I thought this would be a great way to supplement my income. So Florida State allowed me the opportunity to coach during the winter and play during the summer. So it was at that point I was like, all right, maybe I can do this. And I played professional golf a couple more years and then decided that, the good Lord was pushing me in a way to perhaps I needed to quit playing and I was better suited to be a coach. So really that's how I got started, kind of by accident. But now I really enjoy what I do and every day is different. So I think I picked the right occupation.
What was it like playing college golf for Florida State?
It was great. To be honest, for those that don't know part of my story, I actually grew up a Gator. My entire family graduated from there. And as the recruiting process started, I really kind of fell in love with Florida State. And my mind shifted a little bit and I got to come to school here and learned about the tradition of Florida State. They treated me like a family member and I loved every minute of it. Matter of fact, I got redshirted my freshman year, so I got to spend a fifth year here, which was probably the best thing that ever happened to me because it allowed me to get my undergrad and my graduate degrees here at Florida State.
Of course, as you talked about, your family grew up a Florida Gator fan. What was that like, obviously, switching from Florida Gators to going to FSU?
It was hard because I'd spent more time going to football games in the swamp than I had here at Doak Campbell for sure. But what I realized is two very good schools, but as you can see, there are differences in the individuals that go to Florida and the individuals that go to Florida State. And I was actually better suited to be a Seminole. I just didn't know it at the time. But I really enjoyed the family atmosphere. I enjoyed the way that the program was building. The golf program was getting better and better. We had a lot of really good golfers at the time. And it was a good fit for me, personality wise, work ethic wise. And so I wouldn't change it for the world. I now bleed garnet and gold, and I think I'm the smartest one in the family at this point.
What was that feeling like of getting to put on that FSU golf polo shirt?
The first time I did it, it took me a little while as a freshman to actually get in the lineup. And I missed it. I hated to watch the bus drive away or them hop on the airplane and leave for a tournament. So that very first time was something special. And I had the opportunity to play here at home at Seminole at the time. And that is something that I wouldn't change for the world, because that feeling, even just thinking about it, reliving it right now, is something pretty special. It's actually kind of giving me chills. But anytime you get the opportunity to play either your first game, your first match, or whatever, I think it's something that sticks to you in your memory bank, because it's you hope it's the first of many, but you never really know. So you don't want to take things for granted. So that first moment of putting on that polo was something that I will never forget, and something that's pretty special. Even though I shot 80, it's something that I'll always remember.
Of course, during your golfing time, what were some of your biggest accomplishments?
For me, again, it took me a little while to get going, but I won a tournament as a junior. I won the Florida State Championship, which was held in Miami. I led from wire to wire, and I got better each day. I shot 3 rounds of 73, but my nines got better each and every day. If I'd start off with a 39, then I'd shoot 34. Then I shot 38, 35, 37, 36. So things got better, but I had that tournament win. I was an all ACC performer. And probably my biggest accomplishment is I was lucky enough to be voted on the 50th anniversary team. So the ACC women's golf 50th anniversary team. And that's something that I will always hold special, to be just in the vicinity and being named with all of the great players in the ACC. Is something that is probably one of my biggest accomplishments.
Of course, coming out of college, what was it like getting into the professional golf side?
It's hard. It's very different when you start playing for money. We don't quite realize that sometimes. It's a full-time job, but it's a full-time job in college as well. But the biggest difference is playing for money and going out each and every week, and you spend Monday through Sunday really playing off. You want to play on the weekends, because if you're going to make money, you got to play on the weekends. But what professional golf did for me is it afforded me the opportunity to meet people from all over the country. I used to stay in private housing with them, and which cut down on costs. It helped me eat better because I got some good home cooked meals rather than eating out every week. But it gave me people that to this day I still have relationships with, who opened up their home to me, gave me the opportunity to live my dream by helping me financially. And, had some of my best memories are playing golf with friends out on the golf course week in and week out. I think the biggest thing for me is professional golf allowed me to do what I do today, which is coach. Our players want to live that dream of playing professional golf. So me having experienced it, I can help them along the way. But whenever you specialize and can get that far and turn professional, I think it's a big deal. And no matter what, no matter how successful you are, whether you don't make it or you just giving yourself the opportunity to take the risk and be a professional golfer, to me, is a success in itself. So it doesn't matter about the money. It just matters that you took the leap of faith, gave it a go, gave it your best effort. And you're one of the few that can say you're a professional golfer.
During your time as a professional golfer, did you ever play on the LPGA?
I did not. I played on the mini tour. Now it's known as the Epson Tour, but back then it was called the Futures Tour. And I went to tour school right when I got out of college. And to be honest, I missed it by one shot of getting my LPGA card. And it was probably the best thing that ever happened to me because I wasn't prepared for the LPGA life. I had no idea what the rigors of playing week in and week out were. So I was thankful for the opportunity to play on the mini tour and travel with some of my friends rather than be on my own, have to find a caddy and really have my A game week in and week out. So for me, it was the best thing that ever happened to me, not getting my LPGA card. And it's brought me to where I am today, which is being a coach.
Coming back off of obviously being a professional athlete, what was it like getting into college coaching?
It was fun. When I came back and was an assistant here, and I was actually looking to take a head job somewhere, I had to ask a lot of questions to other coaches because I only knew how Florida State worked. I played here. I was recruited to come here. And now coaching here, I was like, what do other people do? How do they qualify? How do they recruit? What do they do on a daily basis? So I had to ask other coaches, and thankfully, the college golf coaching world is one that's willing to help younger coaches. And so they thankfully answered all my questions and helped me to figure out what my actual philosophy of coaching was. So that's what I really like is, everybody wants to win, everybody's competitive, but at the same time, they're willing to share some of their secrets, or they were willing to help share some secrets, and share it with me so that I can really succeed as a coach and choose what direction I want to go.
What was it like in 2006 going to Princeton to become the head coach for the first time in your career?
It was nerve-wracking. It was scary. Again, I'm born and raised in the state of Florida. I grew up in Ocala, and Florida is what I knew. And then when Princeton came calling, I asked a silly question, and right before they asked me if I would be interested in actually applying, I said, I know this is going to sound silly, but where are you located? And I had no idea that it was actually in Princeton, New Jersey. But when I went up there, I fell in love with it. You think it's New York City, but it's a cute little town. It's got a lot of farms around it, but I was scared to death to take the leap to be a head coach. But, I leaned on my faith a little bit and said, you got to take a leap of faith and go up there. And I had a wonderful group of student athletes who actually taught me a lot in my first head coaching experience. But a lot of fun. I learned a lot. I wouldn't change it for the world, other than the fact it's really cold up there in the wintertime. And this Florida girl was not meant for New Jersey winters.
Of course, how was that like, obviously getting your first head coaching job in the Ivy League versus obviously where you're from, being in the ACC?
Yeah, it was different. I mean, academics rule your day-to-day activity up there. The kids are students first. They all live on campus. So I had to learn a little bit of how things worked. I spent from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. at the golf course, just working around the kids' schedules, trying to get them individually at the golf course on a daily basis. So that was a change. Being from the South and then going up to the Northeast, it's different. My Southern drawl didn't exactly work up there. And, these kids are highly intelligent, but I'll tell you what, I admire what they do up there, because it takes a lot to be an Ivy League athlete, just with the rigors of school week in and week out. So I admire those kids and how they do it. And they get the best of both worlds, both from an academic perspective and athletic perspective. Plus, they have 39 sports up there, and down here we have 20. So I got to learn about other sports, from squash and fencing and lacrosse, things that I hadn't really been around down here. So it was a great opportunity to not only learn about a different college atmosphere, but also a totally different part of the country that I'd never been in before. Again, I wouldn't change it. I have some great friends that are still up there, but I do enjoy being back here at Florida State, where I can wear my shorts and my t-shirt all day long and not really have to worry about having a big, giant, puffy coat and shoveling snow.
During your time at Princeton as the head coach, what was it like, obviously building the culture and establishing the Princeton golf program?
It was good. The previous coaches they had actually worked in the campus rec department, so they weren't true golf coaches. They did a great job. Those coaches did in building that program, but I enjoyed, there's no scholarships there. There's no athletic scholarships. So the kids really want to come to Princeton, and they have to have the academic accolades to actually get in. There's not a whole lot I can do there. But Princeton itself was a great place and is a great place. And it's something that helped make me into the coach that I am today, because I really figured out what works, what doesn't work, how hard you can push the kids. Golf up there needed to be a de-stressor rather than a stressor, because the academics were strong. And then it really just allowed me to figure out who I was going to be as a coach with them. And we had success. I mean, we had a lot of success, not only in the Ivy League, but outside. I brought them to different tournaments that they hadn't experienced before because of my relationships with coaches in the South. So we traveled a lot more, but I actually won my very first tournament up there. We hosted, I don't know what I was thinking, but they had a tournament set up and we hosted the Princeton Invitational. And so the very first tournament I ever coached at as a head coach, I won, which was certainly a blessing. I had nothing to do with it. I'd been in place about 2 months. All I had to do was really make sure the kids were happy. And so up there, we ended up winning 8 times, but the players is what made my experience at Princeton great.
How is it like coming back in 2011 to your alma mater of FSU?
It's a dream come true. Very few of us get the opportunity to actually coach at our alma maters. And I was blessed with the opportunity to come back here, and they hired me. And it's just exciting to be, I'm 2.5 hours away from my hometown. I'm coming back to a place at Florida State, which I know very well. The hardest thing for me was, how am I going to make it different? How am I going to make it successful here? And how am I going to build a culture of winning championships? And I just couldn't be more thankful for the opportunity to be here, and our great administration that was here at the time, and everybody continues to work hard to give me all the resources that I need in order to be successful and help us recruit the best student athletes in the country. So I am thrilled to be back here, and look forward to hopefully ending my career here.
Is it like coming back and obviously establishing winning championships for FSU?
It's a blessing. It's been great. I've been blessed with some great assistant coaches. I certainly haven't done this alone, and I've got some great assistant coaches that I've been able to work with over the years, who have helped me build a culture of success and players that are happy, and not only are they good on a golf course, but they're also good academically. I'm super proud of the fact that all of our kids have graduated, and our graduation success rate is 100%. That is probably what I'm most proud of, but there's no better place that I want to be successful than here at Florida State.
How was it like as a head coach and an alma mater of the program to hoist the NCAA regionals in 2014 and 18?
It was great. Tallahassee is really on the way to nowhere. So you got to want to come to Tallahassee to get to Tallahassee. So the fact that we were able to bring 2 regionals to town, we've actually hosted at 2 different golf courses. We hosted it at Southwood in 2014, and then here at Seminole in 2018. But I think it's great to bring college golf to Tallahassee, bring women's golf to Tallahassee, where people can come out and watch some of the best golfers in the world. A unique thing is that we're actually having the opportunity to host this year here at Seminole. So the regionals will be here May 8th or May 9th through the 11th. So I'm going to encourage people to come out and come watch some great college golf there too. But overall, I'm thankful to the administration and the university for giving us the opportunity to put in a bid to host a regional, because you want to try to, golfers are road warriors. We are on the road 99% of our year. So having the ability to host here at home, we hope will give us a great advantage and allow us the opportunity to get to the national championship.
Of course, what was that 2017 historical season like, being ranked number 1?
Unreal. I had a phenomenal group of young ladies that every time I turned around, they were just putting together really good rounds of golf. We won 6 times. So we won 3 times in the fall and 3 times in the spring. And it was fun. I mean, in golf, you lose a whole heck of a lot more than you win. So having the opportunity to win 6 tournaments and be ranked number 1 is something pretty special. And what's even more special is that group of young ladies really got along. We had 2 seniors, 2 juniors, and a freshman in that lineup consistently all year. And, there's a lot of good college golf going around in the US. And I'm just appreciative of the fact that we got to number 1 and won 6 times that year.
What is it like building upon the culture from being an athlete of FSU to now the head coach of FSU golf?
Culture plays a huge role. Like I said earlier, one of the things that brought me to Florida State was the family atmosphere. I love the fact that the student athletes come out and support each other. The administration comes out and supports each other. The coaches support each other and can feed off one another on the success of all of our programs. And I kind of brought that back as a coach. We're building a family atmosphere here. We may have 500 student athletes, but those 500 student athletes are family, and same with the coaches and the administrators. It takes a group to be successful. It's not just us. We're feeding off the success of soccer and softball and beach volleyball. We hope that we have the opportunity to win a national championship here coming up soon. But until we do, I've got a lot of great coaches that I can follow in their footsteps and keep building something pretty special here.
How's it like, obviously, coaching in the ACC and coaching against teams like Carolina, NC State, Clemson, and Duke?
The ACC is a strong golf conference. I mean, Duke and Dan Brooks have won 7 national championships. So to have them in our conference, they're always going to push us to be better. And all of these other schools as well, we keep pushing one another. And that's a big thing. We want to highlight our student athletes and highlight our programs. And the ACC is a pretty good conference to be a part of week in and week out. You can't just kind of rest on your laurels and see what happens. You really got to continue to push and build your program if you just want to compete at not only a national level, but especially for our conference level.
Of course, how has things changed from when you played in the ACC to now when you coach in the ACC?
I mean, one of the biggest changes is the number of teams. When I was in school, we had 4 ACC schools when I started, and now we're up to 12. So that just tells you that the growth of women's golf is big. So just the fact that we now have 12 schools that are really good, to me, is a tribute to where we're going, and that there's a lot more successful golf programs out there than even we know. The other thing is 2 coaches can now coach. I said that earlier, where assistant coaches and head coaches when I was in school couldn't coach at the same time together. You had to pick one or the other. Now we can have 2 coaches on the golf course coaching players, walking along with them. We can do anything. We can help them as much as they want. The only thing we can't do is pick up their clubs and caddy for them, but we can give them numbers. We can talk about reads on the green. Heck, half the time we just chit chat anyways. We're not really talking golf. We're talking about ice cream and swimming. But the biggest thing in the ACC is the number of teams that have changed. The caliber of golf is much better. Technology has helped that. But there's just a lot of really, really good golfers now. We had good golfers when I played, but there's just a lot more of them these days.
What does a typical golf tournament look like for the Seminoles?
Great question. A typical golf tournament is we actually leave on Wednesday. We leave Wednesday afternoon. Thursday is a practice round, so the kids have the opportunity to see the golf course that they're about to play. Then you get to Friday and it's round 1. Saturday's round 2. Sunday's round 3. And during those tournament days, we travel with 5 players. And of those 5 players each day, the low 4 scores count. So we can always throw out that high score each round. But if you get thrown out, if your score gets thrown out in round 1, you could still count in rounds 2 and 3. So it's unique. We have no timeouts, no substitutions during the regular season. So what you get is what you get. We hope that our players continue to fight for every stroke day in and day out. But we just want to make sure that we get 4 good scores in daily. So for golfers, they miss the most school of any other sport because we are gone typically 5 days. But thankfully, they're all pretty good students and I don't have to worry about that piece. But that is a typical tournament for us. On occasion, we'll play 36 holes in a day, but on average, it's 18, 18, 18. So 54 hole tournaments until we get to the national championship, and the national championship is 7 rounds of golf in 8 days.
What is
So
that? What is that like? Obviously, having an all-day tournament versus obviously some sports, it's just you get there, you compete, you come back home.
yeah, it can be tiresome. You know, we leave in the dark. We leave the hotel room in the dark, and we typically come back in the dark. So it's 12 hours of your sport is what it is. So, you know, you have to be mentally and physically prepared for that. And our players do a good job preparing for that. I mean, we usually play, I mean, we're getting ready to leave next week for a 36-18. So they'll spend all day next Saturday on a golf course. But the great thing is if you've got it rolling and it's going good, you just keep going. If it's going bad, you hope they put up a little mental stop sign in between rounds and kind of regroup and start over, because it is continuous play. They just keep going. We kind of give them their lunches and just tell them to keep going. Make sure we got plenty of snacks and water, and just keep their attitudes up and keep them mentally in the game from start to finish for 36 holes.
What does the recruitment look like for prospective student athletes looking to be college professional golfers?
I think golf is unique in that as coaches, when we're out recruiting, we're out walking the golf courses with players. You know, we're walking 18 holes with them. We're watching how they react to the shots. You know, frankly, I like to see them struggle a little bit, because when you're having success, it's easy. But what are you going to do in the hard times? So golf is unique where we'll watch them at multi-day tournaments, trying to figure out, you know, what they do well fundamentally, ways in which they can help us from a physical standpoint on the golf course, and also from a personality. You know, our teams are small, so we're looking at personality just as much as we're looking at athletic ability.
What are some of the things that you look at in these high school golfers when on the road?
The biggest thing is just, again, how they deal with adversity, what they do, you know, what their work ethic looks like, and how they treat people. You know, how they treat golf is a game of honesty and integrity, and it's all about, you're going to spend 4 or 5 hours with a perfect stranger most of the time. So how do you interact with them? What do you do? All of those things play a role when we're looking at players.
What does the recruitment process look like on the official visit side when going to FSU?
You know, we want to show them campus. We want to show them the city of Tallahassee. We want to show them campus. We want to show them the golf course. You know, whatever sport you're in, you want to show them those facilities. And then the other thing is they're going to sit down and talk with us. I mean, getting to know your coaches is really important, but more so spending time with your future teammates. Those are the people that you're going to spend the most time with. So we try to hit all areas. We might hit other sporting events that are going on here at Florida State if something's going on at that point in time. But the main thing is talking, sitting down, and really getting to know each other or one another here on campus.
What's it like to obviously see those golfers put on the same polo jersey that you did when you were going through the program?
It's awesome. You know, when we get a recruit to say yes, it's a very special moment. I mean, again, we're not looking at that many kids throughout the year. We might get 2 kids a year to come, because at the most we're probably going to have 8 to 10 student athletes. So that number is really small. So anytime a kid says yes and has the opportunity to come here and play, it's something special. There's nothing better than putting on the garnet and gold of the Florida State Seminoles. So I want those players to experience what I experienced and actually have more opportunities than I had. And the biggest thing is that they're going to get a great education and become better golfers at a great institution. So that to me is the best thing, is leaving with a degree on the wall, hanging on the wall, and playing some really good golf.
What are some of your future plans for the program of FSU women's golf?
A couple of the big things are we want to win a conference championship. The ACC is very strong. We want to win a conference championship. Want to win a national championship. I mean, women's golf has won a national championship, but that was in 1981. And it was the AIAW at the time. So I want to win an NCAA national championship. So conference championship, national championship. But I think more importantly is I want our kids to be proud of having the opportunity to play here at Florida State, get a degree from here, and then go on and be successful. I want them to live their dream. If it's to play professional golf, great. If it's not, then I want them to go off into the world and be successful business people. So that to me is big. So yes, I am a college golf coach here at Florida State, and I want to win conference and national championships, but I also want to have players leave here and have enjoyed their entire experience and want to come back and be a part of the next generation.
What advice would you give those high school golfers looking to become college golfers?
Work hard, be good in the classroom, work hard on the golf course. Golf is not always easy, but keep things in perspective, be positive. I mean, really good golfers, the first thing they'll come back with, even on their really good days, they might shoot 65 one day, and the first thing they're going to come back and tell you is how they missed the putt for 64. So focus on the positives, work on the weaknesses, but most importantly, enjoy the game, because golf is a game and it should be played. So enjoy it when you go out there.
What advice would you give those future college golfers looking to go on the professional level?
I think kind of the same advice, just work hard, keep things in perspective, but also know it's a tough road. It's a tough road. So you got to keep it in perspective and focus on your weaknesses, what you need to get better at, but also maintaining the things that you do well. And every single golfer is different. So don't really compare yourself against others. It's a matter of, how good is your ball striking? How good is your short game? How good is your putting? It doesn't matter what it looks like as long as you can get that little ball in the hole. So I would say just positive, stay focused, and do what is necessary to be successful.
What advice would you give future head coach golfers looking to get into the coaching on the college level? And then what advice would you give people like yourself looking to go back to their alma mater to coach?
I think the biggest thing with wanting to be a coach is figure out what's important to you. What are your non-negotiables? What's important, because you need to start with building your culture. But as you're trying to get into the golf business, just make people aware that it's something that you're interested in, and do the work, meaning get to know all the new technology that's out there, whether it be from a technological standpoint or just from technology and or the golf swing itself. Be as proficient in it as you possibly can. And lots of times it's luck and who you know. So build those relationships with people who are in the golf business. And then if you do want to come back and coach at your alma mater, be successful wherever you are. If you can show that you can build a program, then I think you can pretty much go anywhere you want to go. So if you have success at either a different level or at the current level, and that head job opens up at your alma mater, just maintain the relationships you have at your alma mater, and then be successful in your golf career where you are.
That's great advice. Where can my listeners find you at on social media along with the FSU golf program at?
You can go to Seminoles.com and follow most of our social online stuff. I will also say my Twitter handle is Coach Bond FSU. Same thing for Instagram. Our Instagram and Twitter account for the golf page is just FSU Golf. And then trying to think, our men's team and our women's team is combined program. So they're both at FSU Golf. And then if you'd like to follow us while we're in our tournaments, you can actually go to golfstat.com and click on the tournament, and you can actually follow hole by hole. It's a little bit addicting, I'm not going to lie. You hit the refresh button an awful lot, but they'll update the player scores every 3 holes. But it is fun to watch. We do have a great group of young ladies. And and feel free to come out during regionals May 9th through the 11th.
Thank you again, Coach Amanda Bonds, for your interview, and best of luck in your future with the Florida State Seminoles head women's golf program.
Thank you so much, Brandon. Thanks for having me on.
You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Facebook at Brandon Sports Talk, Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Coach Amanda Bonds, for your interview, and best of luck in your future.
Thank you so much, Brandon.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.